Hey friends, Corrine here, and getting ready to head out on an adventure. Um, but I gotta say, stick around at the end because once again, I have overestimated the quality of the maps of the Bureau of Land Management. You'll see what I mean. But we also find some really cool stuff along the way, so let's go check out this old mine. Papago Indian Chief Mine, way the heck back in the desert, about 11 miles off-road, and we are soon to find out that it's off-road. Let's go.
The trailhead for BLM 8011 is located at milepost 135 on I-8 eastbound. You can also get here from I-8 westbound by crossing the median. The gate isn't locked, so just head on through it, but be sure to close it behind yourself. As soon as you make it through the gate off of I-8 onto BLM 8011, you come across the ruins of the old Bighorn Station. Between 1920 and 1952, Bighorn Station was the only place for travelers to stop between Casa Grande and Gila Bend on what was then the old Highway 84. So let's have a look around before we start making our way back to the old mine. Take a look at this. About a quarter of a mile from the gate and nestled against the first wash crossing is a cool old homestead site. Let's take a quick look around before we continue deeper into the desert.
Time to head on back to the Mobile and get on down the road.
Information about the Papago Indian Chief Mine is pretty hard to come by. I managed to find 2 paragraphs of information on an obscure desert mountaineering website, and here's what I learned. It's a copper mine operated by Tom Childs Jr. back in the 1900s. One of the most interesting things about this tiny mine is that it has its own smelter. It's a pretty unusual thing for small mines in Arizona. Generally, copper ore is hauled from the mine to a nearby smelter for processing. I'm really interested to take a look at this old smelter.
All right, decisions to be made. It looks like 11 goes to the right, and I'm pretty certain that's what I have on my map. Yes, I do. So we're going to go to the right.
As I'm traveling along this 11-mile road, I'm beginning to understand why they wouldn't want to haul tons of raw ore and rock out of here. We seem to have encountered a wash that is washed out, so let's get out here real quick, take a peeky poo. It's deeper than it looks on film, but I think we can do it. Let's give it a shot before we attempt to do the bypass, which we just passed up on our right. Come on, girl. Now I know you're saying, why in the world is she going over the big rock instead of going to the left? Well, at the bottom of the hill that you really can't see is a big old rock that I did not want to catch my diff on, and I'm straddling a hole in the wash, so without a spotter, this is the best option. And it also looked like the line everybody else who had come down this wash had taken, so here we go. And here we go for deep wash number 2. Luckily, this one doesn't have a big drop off to get into it. The Childs have a lot of Arizona history as cattlemen and miners back in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. Tom Jr. was born in Yuma, Arizona in 1870, and he and his father, Tom Sr., prospected and ranched here in southern Arizona. They even owned interest in the big mine over in Ajo, Arizona. Now, the Childs sold their interest in the Ajo copper mine to the Calumet and Arizona Company back in 1912. If you've ever been to Ajo, Arizona, you're familiar with the new Cornelia mine that was in operation until 2007. And if you're not familiar with the New Cornelia mine, it's a very interesting area with all sorts of drama going back hundreds of years and well worth investigating. We have arrived at the smelter location. Listen to my initial reaction of stumbling across a smelter in the desert. Clearly, I had not researched the area before I arrived.
Well, what in the heck is that? It looks like a boiler of some sort. What the fudge would you be boiling up here? Oh, no. What does that say? 1877. Okay, hold on. We gotta figure this out. What does that say? I can't even read it. 1877.5 BM. Can you guys read that? Huh, okay. What would you check this thing out? That's cool. We're gonna go up there in a second, look down in it. But let's take a swing around first. Camera's gonna flip out with the sun. That's the good old goat. This is so cool. I didn't bring any camping stuff. I have a bunch of water, but no camping stuff. So we came in from right over there. And we came all the way from, oof. Well, you see that peak? The other side of that peak, like way over here. I think we're 11 miles back. It's been almost 2 hour drive to get this far. Yeah, it's pretty slow. Okay, let's go check this out. See if I can get it to... Well, there's a bunch of jerks that have put trash down in there. Don't be jerks. And of course, people who have shot it up. That's just quite interesting. So, like, way in that little holler, which I'm messing up the focus, sorry. Way here, in there, that's where there's a house or something up in the hill, and oh, I want to get there so bad, but I don't think I can. All right, let's take a look around this side. Try to not cast a shadow. Little lizard just went running up. I guess that would have been where you stoked the fire. Good Lord, bird. That bird just came out of a hole and scared the hell out of me. Probably scared it just as badly. That's its little birdie nest right there. I don't want to get too close, but yeah, that's where it came out of. Right there. It's all right, little bird. I'm not going to mess with your babies. Maybe it wasn't babies. Maybe that was his pantry and he just went and got some food. This is pretty good stuff, you guys. This is what I live for, is to come out and find stuff like this. Hello, hole. Love it. Love it. I'm going to try 808 on the way out because there's a couple other things in there that I think probably are related to this right here. Down that way. And I think because it's going that way and not that way, then we're not going to have to go over the roller coaster. Pretty sure we'll be able to just go around White Hills, which is over there. I already know that trail. White Hill, and then go right back up onto Vocal Road and back to the camp. So that's my plan. TBD. I'll let you know if it changes.
Things did change, and we're going to head up here to the end of this dead-end road.
I want you to see what we came upon. I know what this is. This is water for critters, kind of. So I wonder where it comes out at. There's a whole shoot ton of bees right over there. Oh, I see where the water's at. Okay. Can you see? This was worth the side trip.
A little more about Tom. So Tom Jr. married a local Tohono O'odham woman and had 12 children. The most famous of his children is Philman Childs Bell, who became an author and a historian. And to add one more feather to his cap, Tom Childs Jr. served Arizona as a territorial and state legislator. At this point in the adventure, it's about 6 in the evening, and I really hope to be out of the deep desert before the sun set at 7:30. And this is when I started acting against my better judgment. On the map, 8008 looks like a pretty straight shot right across the base of the mountains and into the Vehicle Valley. But I'd never traveled that trail, and I had no intel from any other sources. It was just a BLM road on a map. As I started down 8008, the road was actually in much better shape than 8011, so I thought I had chosen wisely. After about 2.5 miles of this 10.1 mile unknown road, I ran into my first obstacle. The main road was closed and was diverted into a wash. Now, driving in washes doesn't bother me, and my truck can certainly handle it. And looking further down the map, it appeared it would climb back out in about half a mile, and that's exactly what happened. No drama, but the climb was pretty rough and rutted. But after climbing out of the wash, things took a turn for the worse. The trail became very overgrown. A few more miles in, and the trail went back into the wash. However, this part of the wash was really suitable for adventure bikes and side-by-sides. But there were tire tracks that could only have been made by a truck, and with that bit of investigating, and with the sunset chasing me down, the shortest path out was to continue heading east on 8008. At about mile 8.5, there was a way to climb out of the wash. And that was a good thing, because there was a large boulder that my unlifted Jeep would not have been able to navigate without potentially getting hung up. And getting hung up out here in the middle of nowhere was not on my to-do list on this day. At this point, after climbing out of the second wash, the only road to follow veered south and would have taken me down near the reservation land. I stopped the truck and made a decision not to push my luck and to turn around and make the 8.5 mile trip back to 8011, knowing that I needed to get at least that far before dark. I wasn't looking forward to running 8011 backwards, mainly because of the rock shelf and having to go up it. But there is a bypass, and if all else failed, I could simply camp there for the night and decide how to get out in the morning. As a matter of fact, if I got stuck right there, I could easily have hiked out to the highway. All's well that ends well, and I did make it to the highway and made it out. And this here is the story of how curiosity nearly killed this cat. Well, perhaps that's dramatic. I wouldn't have died. I do carry a satellite communicator. I could have always called for help if I needed it. I suppose the real takeaway is not to try to shortcut your way along unknown routes when you're against a time limit like sunset. Some folks would also say you shouldn't be out here wheeling in the middle of the Sonoran Desert alone, and I suppose that's not bad advice. Unfortunately, if I didn't wheel alone, I'd never wheel at all. So I'll continue adventuring to see what's out here, and you can continue to ride shotgun right along with me. And with that, my friends, I am going to leave you until our next adventure. Leave me some comments below and tell me where you want to go next. Remember to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching.